All right, we'll start our Committee of Adjustments meeting, April 8th, 2025. Please note that this meeting is being broadcast and recorded. Recordings will be made available on the town's YouTube channel. At this time, I will ask those in attendance to please have their cell phones off or on mute, and I will introduce the folks that are here today. To my left, Chief Administrative Officer Adam Sabansky, our Senior Planner Maria Costa Rossi, our Planning Technician Mackenzie Baird, and Corinne Nada, Manager of Development Services. I'll introduce our committee, starting on my far right, Councillor Mike Vasey, Committee Member Jennifer Turk. To my left, Deputy Mayor Nettie McEwen, and Committee Member Les Goldhawk, and my name is Bruce Moulton, and I'm the chair of the committee. I will ask the committee members if they have any pecuniary interest to please note them at the appropriate time. Let's start with our minutes from our previous meeting. I have a motion here by Nettie McEwen, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the minutes of the regular Committee of Adjustment meeting held March 11th, 2025 be approved as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. We will begin with our application. We do have two applications, but by the same applicant, so I will leave both applications first, and then we will deal with them separately. So consent application number B-0525, take notice that an application was made by Brendan Wooters with respect to the property known as Concession 8E Part Lot 10, Town of Plympton-Wyoming, 3981 HYSLOP line. The applicant is requesting a right-of-way easement for a hydro and water line to ensure adequate servicing for the proposed severed lot. This lot is the subject of the surplus farm dwelling severance application B-0125, and that is consent application number B-0125. Take notice an application has been made by Brendan Wooters with respect to the property known as Concession 8E Part Lot 10, Town of Plympton-Wyoming, 3981 HYSLOP line. Applicant is requesting permission to sever approximately 0.97 hectares, 2.4 acres from the lot municipally known as 3981 HYSLOP line for the purpose of creating a new lot. The retained lot is proposed to be approximately 41 hectares, 101.31 acres. The property previously underwent a zoning bylaw amendment to rezone the retained lands from agricultural 1A1 to no dwelling agricultural ND-A as part of the surplus farm dwelling severance process. This consent application is the next step in that process. At this time, I'll refer to our planner, Maria, for her report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the previous application for the surplus farm dwelling severance was deferred pending completion of easements for the proposed surplus farm dwelling parcel. So in terms of the application for consent for the easements, the purpose is to grant consent in the form of two easements. The report previously referred to it as a blanket easement, but it is not a blanket easement. It is actually two separate easements in favor of the proposed surplus farm dwelling parcel. Both of the severances are both of the easements are located on the retained portion of the property. So the consent application for the easements is actually a transfer of legal rights in the form of the two easements intended to provide continued access to the hydro and a water line. So the hydro easement will be approximately 883 square meters. And the water easement will be approximately 2,008 square meters. The drawing on the screen shows the water line easement, which is in green, and the red line is for the hydro easement. So both the request does comply with the official plan policy and with the zoning bylaw. So staff is recommending approval.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wooters, anything to add to Maria's report?
No, other than, so at the January meeting, there were some questions that arose in regards to the pole, the hydro pole and the lines being on the portion that would be retained. So after weeks of going back and forth with Hydro One, I finally got a hold of someone and there's an email that's included in the package from Brendan Smith, who is supervisor distribution technician, and he basically just said that Hydro One does not have a requirement for an easement because it is not the farmland is not owned by Hydro One. So that's when I talked to the planning department and my lawyer, and we thought that was it was kind of prudent to get an easement, so there was no problems down the road with if I were to ever sell it.
It's what they call what is it called? A private. In the letter, I think they called it a private primary service. Yes. Okay. Anything else to add?
No.
Right. Lindsay, do we have any correspondence?
We have received no correspondence for the application.
Thank you. I'll refer to our committee. I'll start with this time my far left. Les?
No, I don't have any questions.
Deputy Mayor McEwen.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Jennifer?
I don't have any.
Councillor Vasey.
I have.
Holy moly. Effective. Nothing to add, Adam or Corinne?
On to
Yeah.
finally getting it to an approval, and thank you to Mr. Wooters for being patient with us.
So I
Through one of the very first surplus farms that we've been working on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
agree.
I think it also created a new check mark on doing this, was looking at the services coming into.
Yeah, no, I agree.
For all of us.
Somebody had to be the first.
Lucky me, eh?
Lucky you. All right, I'm gonna read I'm gonna do them separately. We'll vote on them separately. I have a motion here by Les Goldhawk, seconded by Nettie McEwen, that the report by Maria Casa Rothi dated April 1st, 2025 be received, and the application B-0525 seeking consent to create 2 easements over the subject property to grant access to private hydro and water line service in favor of a surplus farm dwelling severance from the subject property municipally known as 3981 HYSLOP line be approved, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, that all such severance fees as required by the town, including water frontage fees, if applicable, have been paid before the documents will be endorsed. Number 2, that the 2 easements in favor of the abutting severed parcel for the hydro and water lines be registered on title. Number 3, that a copy of the final RD plan or survey be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer in a form suitable for registration. Number 4, a copy of the easement deed and survey must be presented at the time for stamping. Number 5, that the conditions must be met and the survey and deed be presented within 2 years from the date of the decision or the consent will lapse. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. There is a 20-day appeal period. I'll tell you that after the next one as well. And that any questions that you have, you can talk to her. And I have a motion here by Mike Vasey, seconded by Jennifer Turk, that the report by Randy Shea dated January 7th, 2025 be received, and that consent application B-0125 requesting permission to sever approximately 2.4 acres from the lands known as 3981 HYSLOP line be approved, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, that a septic system permit be obtained and a new septic system be installed, which includes all required inspections. Number 2, that the septic system location be included on the survey, plotted on a copy by owner and a copy provided by to the department for the property files. Number 3, that the applicant undergoes a change of use permit for the agricultural storage shed on the proposed severance parcel. Number 4, that the owner satisfy the Plympton-Wyoming Public Works Department with respect to individual accesses being located on both the retained and severed parcel and installed in compliance with the streets bylaw. Number 5, all Drainage Act assessments applicable to the lands be reapportioned according to the agreement provided by the town and signed by the respective property owners of each of the affected lands. If the parties cannot mutually agree to the apportionment, or if the town does not approve, the town shall instruct an engineer in writing to apportion the assessment among the parts into which the land was divided, and the applicant shall pay the engineering fees for such apportionment. The fees will be paid prior to the stamping of the deeds. Number 6, a copy of the final RD plan or survey be submitted to the town of Plympton-Wyoming. Number 7, a copy of the deed and survey must be submitted to the secretary treasurer in a form suitable for registration. Number 8, additional severance fees as required by the town have been paid before the documents will be endorsed. Number 9, the conditions must be met and the survey and deed be presented within 2 years from the date of the decision, or the consent will lapse. I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Very good, Mr. Wooters. As I've said, you've got 20 days. It's an appeal period. You can talk to the planners and if you have any questions for them. Then thank you once again for doing all of this work.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate Randy's help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Randy as well. No, they're probably getting sick of my emails.
No, you've been great to work. You've been great to work with. Honestly.
Great. We'll move on with our meeting. We do have correspondence and it's recommended reading. There is a new policy. This is in congratulations policy. I don't know if we need to discuss it or if you just want to read it, if anyone has any questions over that policy. Yes, we would encourage if anyone finds that knows anything about any of our committee members that is shareable to the town and appropriate at the time. If they wouldn't mind just letting anyone know, because not everyone's going to know what's going on.
It's actually to let myself or Nicole Campbell know, who work on coordinating the implementation of this policy. That'd be greatly appreciated so we can ensure that people are recognized as sleep determined.
Okay. Any questions on that? Perfect. Business arising, which is our comprehensive zoning bylaw amendment. Anything to add to that or any news? Maria, probably.
Rising or?
Yeah, just any new, I know it's a standing item on our agenda. And we'll keep it there until I guess it's all looked after, I guess, the zoning bylaw amendments.
So I just had 2 items that I wanted just to touch on
Sure.
very briefly. So one is, I know we've had some discussions about frontage fees, so staff are continuing to work through material in the office. There are a number of bylaws and they pertain to different areas of the municipality. So we're going to be meeting internally to review that, and we will get back to committee once the review is completed. And now there is quite a bit of material to go through, so I don't have a timeline for you on that quite yet. And then we did receive an email, thank you, Jen, so providing some standard conditions from Lambton Shores in terms of how they their standard conditions for surplus farm dwelling severances, and staff have reviewed those. There was one in particular that I wanted to address, and that was that Lambton Shores and another municipality in the county do have a condition there related to parkland dedication or cash in lieu. They actually have a specific fee. Lambton Shores is $1,000, and I believe Enniskillen is about $250. Now, this is a standard practice in those municipalities. It's not a requirement in the Planning Act. The parkland dedication stipulated in the planning act uses the language may, so this is a municipal decision or practice that can be put in place. Planning staff have reviewed that, and their feeling is that parkland dedication or cash in lieu would not be applicable on farmland, or at least here in Plympton-Wyoming. It's not been a practice that council has adopted, and it would be up to them to adopt that practice specifically, but it's felt that the parcel that's being severed has been a home that's been there for an extended period of time. Once it's severed, the land that's retained is no dwelling agriculture. So there is no anticipation that there will be a dwelling constructed on that property. So it is felt from a planning perspective that there's no need for there to be an additional fee attached to that. But each municipality has different standards and practices that they will follow, and that's a decision of council. So that has not arisen here, and with Wyoming and planning would recommend it at this time. So I just wanted to address. So each municipality does have some different conditions that they would implement for their applications. It's just based on what council at the time deems to be appropriate for their needs and for their constituents. Okay. Want to address that to give you a little bit of perspective.
And would that be planning, bringing that to council?
If there was a need and it was expressed by council that that is the direction that they wish to move forward with, then of course staff would prepare a report to that effect. But there has been no interest expressed to add that condition in or any other modifications. But certainly staff would do as requested. But staff, and if it was something that staff felt should be a condition that could be added and there was merit to it, then we would bring forth that request to council to see if they wished for us to move forward in that direction. But planning doesn't feel that it's necessary at this time.
Any questions of Marie?
Yeah, well, it probably wouldn't hurt to sometime ask council. They may have a different point of view, like,
I guess if they don't know what they would be asking for, I guess would be my thought, is if they didn't know what the differences were, then council wouldn't really know what to compare it to, I guess. Is that what you're getting at, Nettie? Like, I think not all council would know kind of what.
yeah.
I think the main intent of the parkland dedication, some municipalities may have taken that approach initially because they've been doing surplus farm dwelling severances for a number of years, and they were allowing for additional buildings to be constructed on the retained parcel, but that's not the case here in Plympton-Wyoming. Usually if you have in the urban centers, if you have a parcel that's subdivided into two, right, you have an existing dwelling, and then you know that the additional parcel is going to be sold and there will be a house constructed on it. So the parkland makes sense because there's an increase in number of individuals that will be living in the municipality, so they would need that parkland. But it hasn't really been the case here in Plympton.
Yeah. But
certainly,
the potential is certainly there.
Planning wouldn't be able to support it. Planning wouldn't be able to support it because there's no real justification in it. It's just, and it seems to be across the board. That seems to be the standard, except for two. But certainly, if upper management directs us to provide something to council, we will move forward with that.
Any other questions of Marie?
So is it the wish of the committee as a whole to further investigate applying parkland fees to severances?
Preferences or farmland?
Surplus farm
Specific.
Severances in the realm of what we were talking today, so surplus farm buildings.
I'll be honest, I don't know if that is this committee's, it would be really council that would be.
They make the decision, but it's at this stage where we would recommend it or at least ask council to look into it, because we deal with the severances. If they decide we need a parkland fee, then we would apply the condition, so we need to know.
So my suggestion would be then that a motion be drafted from this committee, encouraging council to consider applying parkland fees to surplus farm dwellings, and staff can bring a report forward to council based on that request.
We get Rin's opinion.
That's fine. It needs to be initiated by you guys. So do that motion, bring it forward to council, get council's decision and we'll bring it.
No more work for you.
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
It's hard to,
Technically, will they not come back to us and said, we've already paid that? When the lot was set up in the first place? It
No,
was a big farm.
It wasn't.
100 years ago. Not creating nothing, we're just splitting the farm.
you're creating a new lot. For sure,
Or another dwelling.
Not another
not
dwelling.
another dwelling yet,
That's what it's related to, is
yet.
in my mind. It-
I just
Yeah.
want to preface that again. So with the NDA, it's meant to be for now, it's meant to be in perpetuity, right? Now, just would like a little bit more direction in terms of if you could provide, if that's going to be the motion, that's totally fine. But if you could just provide a reasoning for the request so that we can delve into it a little bit more, read a report.
Once there's a rezoning on it, okay, then there's no dwellings going to be permitted, for sure, but some, I think we just did one a little while ago that's changed the line. And then it was going to leave another area and it wasn't going to be rezoned. Isn't that up there on Michigan?
It was hazard land or something, wasn't it? That one.
It's here. You know, I don't know, it just,
And with reference to the Coetsiers, they were going from 3 lots to 2, so there would be no parkland fee associated with that type of severance. Because the severed parcels were being,
okay, I thought.
the other ones,
Something
yeah.
vacant.
So in that case, it wouldn't be applicable.
So maybe we could ask staff to have a motion kind of prepared for the next meeting and we can discuss it then.
Unless it makes absolutely no sense to anybody, then.
Yeah. And that way,
Let us think about it.
that way, but our committee can dwell it over as well. We'll see the motion prior to our next meeting. And then if there's any questions of that motion, and if Maria has any questions of that motion, then we can talk about it, vote on it the next meeting.
sure you could provide some information to Mackenzie on the, as Maria asked, the reasoning behind.
Yeah.
it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, okay.
We'll consider this a notice of motion, and if you want to work with Mackenzie and I to prepare it for next meeting, we'll ensure that is done.
Sounds good. Any other questions of Maria? Good. Corinne, any new business?
Letting you know, just the zoning bylaw review, we heard today, and Maria's not privy to this yet, we just heard like at 3 o'clock. It sounds like mid-June is when it will be coming back to council with the draft, we hope. And then we'll be talking about, once council has a chance to review it, we realize it's summer. We need to decide when we're gonna have our open house public meeting to be able to capture people that aren't on vacation, probably more like the public meeting comes September. So draft material should be ready June. They tell me mid-June, let's just say.
July.
And go.
Great. Thank
Very
you.
excited.
When we receive the draft material and the staff report for council, can we take that once council's received it and include it under recommended reading for this committee, please? So they can directly receive a copy as well, please.
Also be hopeful that the municipalities will be putting it on their website with an easy access, you know, here it is.
Yeah.
For everybody to review.
Yeah, sounds good.
Looking good. They're doing lots of great work on the definitions and everything that this committee and staff have asked for them. The staff have done an excellent job on the technical papers. I think we're in good shape.
I'll be a little more detailed than Corinne. The planner who is reviewing the bylaw agreed with this committee that the zoning, the lakefront zoning is problematic and very confusing.
No,
They use much stronger words than that, and they are more than happy to help clean that up significantly.
Yeah, it would be good to get out of those gray areas for sure.
They give us another line, that would be good.
yeah,
Another line.
It's not-
We don't need another line.
another one, yes.
Mackenzie, any new business from you?
OACA conference next month. I believe all of you stated your intent to me. Any changes come up, just let me know.
Great, and thanks for organizing all that for myself. for sure. It's good. Thanks for booking all the stuff and appreciate it. I have to give a new email address to that OACA committee because they have my hospital email still. So I don't know how I do that, but we can talk later.
I thought I'd updated it last time I was on.
For us here, but yeah, they just sent me something, email.
I'll go on the profile and see.
Thank you. Adam, anything for new business? Sure. Okay, Les, any new business? Deputy Mayor?
No, sir.
Jennifer? So they're busy?
Nothing to raise, sir.
And I have nothing as well. So just a reminder, we do have a earlier committee meeting. It'll be at the 6th of May next month. Any applications, Mackenzie?
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have 3 for the next meeting. Might be interesting, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that sounds.
Stay tuned. That always sounds good. Great. So I have a motion here by Jennifer Turk, seconded by Mike Vasey, that the Committee of Adjustments meeting be adjourned and the next meeting will be scheduled for May 6, 2025 at 5:15 PM. All those in favor? That motion is carried.